Welcome to The Grateful Entrepreneur, an online summit all about growing your business with gratitude. Now, during the summit, I'm going to be interviewing entrepreneurs and leaders about the power of gratitude, appreciation, giving, and customer experience to help grow the business. Today, our special guest is Nay Morris. She works for Wufoo as the head of the support team. She's also worked on the SurveyMonkey team and previously in the web hosting industry. And the reason I'm bringing Nay here as part of the Grateful Entrepreneur Summit is because her team over at Wufoo currently writes handwritten cards to customers weekly to thank them for using Wufoo. So Nay, thank you so much for being here.
Of course, my pleasure.
And let me fill in our audience on a little bit more how this interview came about. I actually read an article on Help Scout, and they talked about you and Wufoo, and I just want to read what I read from that article. It said, Wufoo is known for sending thank you cards to customers every week. The team takes time to draft, decorate, and mail personalized cards, a tradition that dates back to Wufoo's early days. And get this, according to customer operations team led Nay Morris, that's our guest today, out of the roughly 800 customers who have received handwritten cards last year, 50% fewer folks left our product than those who did not receive cards. So think about that. Retention rates are a full 50% better among customers who receive a thank you note. So I contacted Nay after I read that, or actually initially contacted another member of your team, I think actually on Facebook, and they connected me with you. So thank you so much, Nay, for being here. I'm excited that Wufoo sends out thank you cards. I'm a big believer in sending out thank you cards as part of a business's mission, and really it's just good human nature and human connection. So thank you for being here. First, Nay, tell me a little bit about what Wufoo is, just in the business, just in case our audience aren't familiar with you, and then a little bit more about your role in the company.
Absolutely. So Wufoo as a business is an online form builder. We allow you to create a form. It's drag and drop. You bring in whatever fields you need to collect the information from your ideal respondents, and then you can launch that form with your custom CSS or merge it into your website, get the data you need to do your business the best way you can. And my role with the team is I lead the support group. So the support team handles everything from social media to customer contacts. If you interact with any part of Wufoo, our support team will help you with that.
Nice. And I've used Wufoo for a number of years now. Excellent product. So those of you who want to get forms built, go to wufoo.com. Easy as that. Nay, when I messaged you to see if you'd be interested in an interview, you said that you love the idea and mission behind Say It With Gratitude, my company, and that my initiative sounded wonderful. You'd be more than happy to set up some time for an interview. Sharing gratitude is something you hold dear to your heart. So I know Wufoo as a company spreads gratitude with thank you cards. Why is gratitude important to you personally?
I think choosing to have a career in support, my day-to-day really deals with solving problems for people. And it really deals with hearing what someone's concern is and seeing how I can best assist to solve that problem. Without people trusting me, without people reaching out to me saying, please help, I don't have a career, I don't have a livelihood. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for people to trust me with being able to help them. I'm grateful that my patience and my ability to work with them allows me to keep solving problems, keep helping people. And it's a really great solution for me. Like, I like puzzles. I love helping people. And it's a really good mix for me.
Yeah, sounds like it's very satisfying.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Okay, so let's get into the nuts and bolts of Wufoo's practice of sending out thank you cards. Now, you've probably heard of there's services out there where you can basically get a computer to replicate a handwritten font and then automatically send out cards to your customers. So I was wondering, and I love that you do handwritten cards, why did you decide to do handwritten cards? Why did WooFoo start sending cards in the first place? Whose idea was it? Take us back a little bit towards the beginning of this venture.
Absolutely. So back in 2006-07, when WooFoo was initially created by Kevin Hale and Chris Coyer and the original founders in Florida, they handwrote cards to customers, and they did it for every Christmas. And this was the team would get together in their garage and they would write these cards. And after SurveyMonkey acquired WooFoo and the team moved out to California and Portland, they stopped doing that. And it was a simple, like, priorities shifted, the company got bigger, some things got dropped, and this was one of them. And so a few years ago, I was looking through some of our documents and I saw a remaining handwritten card. And it was kind of like my heart started fluttering. I was like, this is such a great thing. And I said, let's bring it back. Like, the cost to get 500 cards isn't severe, and we can do this, and then bring the team together. So we started doing this where on Thursday afternoons after lunch, we'd pull everyone together and we would all grab a stack of cards and we would pull a list of customers and we would just start writing thank yous to them. We would look up their accounts. We would see they last logged in today or last week and they're working on this issue, and oh, they're a nonprofit, or oh, they're this customer who's been with us forever running their business through our platform. And we would have this bit of a relationship with the customer. So as a team, we were able to spend time together in a room bonding over writing these letters and joking and having that relationship. And then we also were able to feel closer with our customers by getting to know them on an intimate one-to-one level, where they didn't necessarily have a problem that they were writing in, but we found them in our system and we said, thank you for being you, and thank you for trusting us to help you solve your problem.
Yeah, nice. I love that you're finding out some information about the customer. And I've actually seen the love that they give you back. They're posting the cards that they receive on social media, tagging WooFoo, and it's great that you can kind of build that relationship even more. How do you determine who receives a card?
Yeah, so we have a couple different methods. Previously, what we've been doing is just kind of working our way forward, like from the oldest customers to the newest. Sometimes it's if somebody reaches out to us and they had an issue, we want to send them a special thank you. Sometimes they wrote in saying, this is a great product, we love it. We'll say thank you. If they have, their account came up for whatever reason that we saw something with it interesting, we'll write them a thank you.
So it's not just for signing up for your service and then you're automatically sending them a thank you. You're kind of looking to see when they've last interacted with you or what issues that they're having, and then you'll look for possibly a way to send them a card.
Yeah, we typically try to go from like some of the oldest customers and make sure that everyone gets a card at some point.
Okay.
And yeah, we try to mix it up a little so that we're not just sending the same type of letter all the time.
Sure. And then what has been your greatest challenge in sending out the cards?
I think generating a customer list. That's always the interesting one of which customers we pull. And then I think it's a silly problem, but finding the right cards and the right pens to write on the cards and that right paper type. It's been a challenge, and we've gone through different printers, and it's been fun, and it's a really good experience for the team together to work on just bonding and writing these to the customers.
Awesome. Time is a commodity, right? And, there's business owners watching this interview, entrepreneurs, and they, like when you mentioned that the priorities of WooFoo shifted after a few years of initially sending out cards and you guys weren't making a priority, then you kind of reinstated that tradition of sending out cards. But for somebody listening, time is a commodity. How do you justify the resources monetarily, but also your time resources to actually sitting down as a team and writing out these cards and mailing them?
Hands down, as a manager, being able to see my team building those bonds, seeing each person working together, laughing, finding that common ground of what are your weekend plans? Let's talk about something other than work for 5 minutes, and spending that time to get to know each other. And we are a distributed team. So we'll have people in our Dublin office, our San Mateo office, or our Ottawa office calling in during this. And we all get to sit and talk to each other about life and about our customers. And that value alone of the team being able to trust each other and being able to connect on that level has been invaluable.
Yeah, that was actually a question I had for you, and you've pretty much answered it. I was wondering how writing these thank you cards have impacted the culture of your team. It sounds like you guys are getting to know each other on a more intimate, personal level and bonding, where if you're just sitting at your desk with your head down the entire workday, every day during the week, you're not going to be able to form those relationships.
Absolutely. And one thing that this is spread within the SurveyMonkey family. So as Woohoo is owned by SurveyMonkey, we're kind of a startup within the culture in the company. We've had the CEO come join us. We have developers come sit in with us. We have folks from all around the company who want to see what we're doing and see how they can start bringing it to the sales team on SurveyMonkey, or different organizations who may want to do something similar.
How are you, back to like who gets a card, how are you tracking that in a specific software? And then are there some customers that are getting cards from you more than once, maybe on a more regular basis?
Currently, we try to do one card per person at this time. And the way we track it is the tool that we use to pull the accounts, comes from our employee database. So we have the admin tool that we log into, and we can pull directly from that of which customers have gotten cards. And then we tick a box after they receive one, so they get added to the list of who has gotten the card. So now the accounts that have not been flagged are able to still get new cards.
Gotcha. And we talked about the article I read, which is what led me to ask you for an interview, from Help Scout, and that you guys have retained 50% more of your customers, the ones that have received a thank you card. Was there a specific way that you measured this ROI?
Yeah, so the way I pulled that number was I looked at the customer list that we had written cards to, and I looked at their status after we had written the cards. So at the time of writing that article, I pulled the list that we had written to, and since our team had started writing cards again since 2016 or so, there had been about 800 customers, and out of that 800, roughly less than half of our typical churn rate had churned. So I compared that cohort to the rest of the general populace on the product.
Gotcha. That's great. I mean, if there's a way to measure ROI, because sometimes it's not easy. People are getting cards and you're trying to figure out, well, are they staying with me longer? Are they referring new customers to me? So it's great that you have that data to pull for sure. I want to ask you another question about your team there. Because as business owners, we always hear about customer appreciation, and it makes sense to express gratitude to your customers like Woohoo does. But how do you bring that same level of gratitude back to your team? I remember when I worked in the corporate world, one of the things that really bugged me was I never really felt appreciated for the work I was doing. So I worked at a children's hospital. Of course, we're really spending a lot of time focused on the patient care. But what about the team members? We want to feel appreciated. Is anything special that you all are doing to bring that level of gratitude that you show your customers back to your team?
Oh, this is something I care about so much. I see it as my job as a manager and as a person who works in the company to not only represent the employees that directly report to me to the company, but the company to those employees. So I basically am support for the company to the employees. And to do that, I think about this all the time. And every year I try really hard to make sure I write a handwritten thank you card to each employee with a couple highlights of things that I really appreciate that they did over the year, or memories and little things. I try to keep, they shouldn't hear this, but I try to keep a running doc of little things that have happened through the year that I can say thank you for. And it's really important to me. Like, I can give a mug every year. It doesn't matter. It's that little bit of knowing that someone appreciates you for more than just being here, knowing that you're appreciated for your contributions and your independence and what you bring to the team.
I love that. And you know, you might not get a response from every team member, but just that the fact that you're doing that, I know it touches everybody's heart that you're sending a card to. So kudos to you and Wufu for doing that. Awesome. So Nay, this has been great. What's next for Wufu? Do you guys plan on continuing the practice of sending out thank you cards on a regular basis? I love that you include like decorations and stickers and things like that to make it fun. Is this something that you envision being ongoing and maybe growing?
Absolutely. It's definitely something that we're continuing to do. And honestly, getting to expense dinosaur stickers all the time is one of the coolest perks of it. But yeah, we plan on bringing the rest of the team into it. We have some new folks up in our Ottawa office who want to join in, so we're sending more cards up there and making sure that we're sending to all of our customers from everywhere in the world.
Well, Nate, you know, this has been enlightening. The Grateful Entrepreneur Summit. I want to express gratitude to you for not only quickly getting back to me and saying yes for this interview, but just kind of taking the lead on the gratitude mission that Wufu was on. You're doing some great stuff. So thank you for being here.
Awesome. Thank you so much for hosting this interview.
Yeah, you're welcome. Everybody listening, again, you can check out what Wufu is doing, what they offer, their products and services over at wufoo.com. That's WUFOO.com. This is Scott Colby for the Grateful Entrepreneur Summit. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.